is up, everybody? It's a two-person edition of the PHNX Suns show. I am Espo, he is Saul, and we are here to talk Phoenix Suns basketball. Saul, how was your weekend?
Uneventful.
I don't even remember what I did. I saw a magic show.
I went to go see Strays.
Yeah, how was that?
That was hilarious because I had an OG's before I went in, and that shit was funny as hell, man. That was a good fucking movie.
Talking Dogs While High sounds about right.
Yeah.
I saw a magic show at the Canby on Saturday, and it was like 72 people. It was a super small event that they do, and I was actually impressed. I'm a big skeptic of magic. I know it's all bullshit, right? It's total bullshit. But this guy admitted it's all illusion. It's all tricks.
Sure.
But trying to figure out how he was doing shit, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was the missus. She loves some magic. Well, we got a exciting show for you today. Since it's just Saul and I, we're going to keep it simple. 3 topics we're going to debate. Emma's going to give us the topic. We're going to go back and forth. At the end of the show, Emma's going to tell us.
There's a reason why I'm not on Southwest Bias anymore is because I don't like debating. But
it's not as
treating-
hard as debating on that show. We don't have to be as bombastic. It's more of a discussion. But
Okay,
Emma's
fair
gonna
enough.
decide who has the better.
Oh, I
points,
decide? I was just
Yeah.
going to put it in the
So
chat.
you can put it in the chat.
I was going to
Yeah,
have the
okay.
chat decide.
We can have the chat.
I don't really
decide.
give a shit who wins. So
Neither
let's
do
just
I.
move along.
Let's read the first topic.
Question
here,
number
Emma.
one.
Question number.
Question number 1. Should Devin Booker be ranked higher than Luka Doncic on Bleacher Report's top 3
Wait,
guards for this
say that last name again.
Doncic.
What did you say?
Donovich.
guards on this season?
Luka Doncic.
Did she say Donovich? Luka
Look,
Doncic.
So Bleacher Report put out their top 30 guards in the NBA for the 2023-24 season. Bradley Beal was ranked number 15, Devin Booker number 3, and coming in at number 1 was Luka Doncic.
Coming in at number 1?
Number 1 in guards in the NBA going into 2023-24.
That's
Steph
cute.
Curry was in between Book and Luka. So why don't you start your thoughts on this one?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to preface this by saying Luka Doncic is an amazing basketball player. Like, I don't think anybody's going to dispute that, right?
No.
But what I will say is, outside of the 1 year where you made it to the Western Conference Finals, he very much gives me James Harden vibes, where he's an elite basketball player. He can score, he can pass, he can rebound. He does a lot of things, but he's a specific style kind of player.
Mhm.
Like, you want to think because of his stats that he's a one-size-fits-all kind of player, but he's really not. It has to be curtailed around him, as opposed to like LeBron, who I feel like could pretty much fit into any system because of his physical abilities, the way he plays. I feel like Doncic and LeBron they're different but the same. It's just the weirdest thing. Like, when you watch Luka play, you know he's the best. He's one of the best players out there. But the way he's kind of methodical sometimes, the way he can kind of go about, he's not really a run and gun kind of player. So you got to have specific pieces that fit around him. And that 1 year they did. They had phenomenal 3-point shooters that were shooting the lights out in that series against us, and it made it work. But to say that he's better than Steph Curry or put him over Steph Curry, you don't even have to say about better. Steph Curry's he's proven more. Like, and Devin Booker has proven more, and I think that matters. And so I think in this discussion, no, I'm not okay with Luka Doncic being number 1 overall, and I think Luka should be at number 3. I think he should be behind Devin Booker for sure.
Well, look, I have one argument to make here, and Emma, if you have that graphic, could we please put it up? Luka Doncic is not better than Devin Booker because look at their stats from last year's playoffs. Devin Booker,
Jesus.
33.7 points per game. Luka, 0. Assists per game, 7.2 for Devin, 0 for Luka. Rebounding, 4.8 for Devin, 0 for Luka. Devin Booker, 58.5% shooting, 0% for Luka. And 3-point field goal percentage, 50.8 for Booker and 0 for Luka. Luka, Doncic, whatever you want to call him, I'm sorry, but he wasn't in the playoffs last year. Well, Devin Booker went next level. And to me, when you're ranking guys going into this season because of it, you have to take into account the playoff run. And I am perfectly fine with Steph Curry slotting in at 1. He's done it. He continually does it. He's unbelievable on the court, and you cannot besmirch the way he shoots the ball, pretty much anything. But when Luka Doncic doesn't even make the playoffs last year, and then coming into this year, he's ranked the number 1 guard for this season, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't carry weight for me. The game is about winning, right? And Luka Doncic couldn't do that. They got him help at the deadline. They brought in Kyrie Irving, much like the Suns brought in Kevin Durant. Guess what? The Mavs got worse in some ways. They looked completely disjointed.
Well, that's also, and again, like Tashi D in the chat earlier says, much like Harden, there's not like you would think that there would be a long list of players that want to play with Luka, but there isn't. There's a long list of players that want to play with Devin Booker, and there's a reason for that. It's because if you're a ball dominant guy to the point where it feels like every single possession you have to have the ball in your hand, you're going to lose a lot of players, especially guys that like to touch the ball. They like to, get into the rhythm of the game. That's why catch and shoot guys are primarily the best fit for Luka, because Kyrie and Luka, they didn't coexist very well last year. And that was a proven fact. They struggled down the stretch, couldn't get it together because they both couldn't understand how to be dominant players at the same time without the ball in their hands. They couldn't figure it out. And so to me, that's the biggest thing, is that when you look at the Suns right now, KD, Beal, Book, all three can play with or without the ball. That's it. Chris Paul struggled playing without the ball. Like, he needed to be the initiator of offense in order to get into the flow of those games. And in the games where he wasn't, it was very rough from time to time. Like, I know his catch and shoot 3-point percentage was relatively high, but you can't sit there and tell me that when you looked at Chris Paul, he was in a fluid rhythm in every single one of those games without the ball. That wasn't the case. And I think that's the same thing that could be said about Luka and Kyrie Irving. They couldn't coexist without the ball in their hands a predominant amount of time. And when you talk about Devin Booker and those guys, they're just not like that. Steph Curry doesn't need the ball at all. He can pass the ball. Draymond brings the ball up most of the time anyway. He can catch and shoot off a three. He's got great handle for sure, but he doesn't need to be ball dominant. None of those guys on the Warriors really do. So that's why I think like when you're looking at Luka, like, okay, well, it's not necessarily one of those things where is he a great player or not? No, yeah, he's a great player, but at what point do you not? At what point do you make everybody else better? That doesn't have to be built around your own specific skill sets. Can you make everybody elevate their own play despite the fact that you need the ball 90% of the time?
Well, and I'm looking at, to clarify, I mean, the question is going into this year, and I'm basing it a lot off of last year, and you want to throw Luka's stats at me, fine, but when you talk about, Devin Booker for years got the, high volume shooter on a bad team, guy that can fill the stat sheet but doesn't win. That was Luka last year.
Yeah.
Guy played 66 games, had great individual stats. Team didn't make the playoffs.
Almost averaged a triple-double.
So to me, that you have to weigh that in, right? It's like, great, you did that because you were carrying your team. You didn't carry them to the playoffs. So going into that next year, I downgrade you on where you rank. I think it's Curry, like you said, Booker, Luka right now. Simply because of what those guys were able to accomplish with their team and then how they raised their level in the playoffs.
Yeah, you could sit there and say, there's somebody in the chat that I'm going to assume is likes Luka. That's cool. That's fine. But, and they always bring up, well, Booker choked, in the playoffs. I'm like, well, Booker didn't choke. He also got injured, first of all, and he had one of the most efficient scoring outputs in NBA history during that series against the Nuggets. Like, there's no debate, like in the entire playoffs for that matter. Like, so we can sit there and pick and choose and like, well, okay, he choked in the playoffs. Okay, well, they got to 6 games and then they flamed out. Fine. But they got to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got to the play. You guys didn't even get to the play-in. And I think for Luka, like, yes, I think it's completely fair to judge Luka on his team's success when they don't even get to the playoffs. Jokic, okay? Jokic, last year, or not the year that they won the finals, but the year before that, had nobody on that team and still managed to get them to a 6 seed in the playoffs. That's significant. Like, because he's an all-around player, and Luka's supposed to be this all-around player too, and he wasn't even able to get to a 10 seed. Come on, guys.
Well, I also, same individuals like, oh, you always choke. They've been further than Luka has. They've won more games in a season than Luka has. I get it. Maybe they didn't win a title, but I must have missed where Luka Doncic won one or multiple titles. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, you're insulting your own guy in trying to insult the Suns there too, and the way they play. I never understood that and how people throw that stuff around, because it's the old saying, when you point one finger, 3 more point right back at you.
Yeah.
Like, you're pointing at your own guy and his own failures there as well. You know what doesn't fail though? So
What's that?
BetMGM.
Okay.
They are the best in the business when it comes to placing wagers on the sports that you love. Right now, if you sign up with the code PHNX, you're going to get, when you place your first bet, up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first bet loses. It's just that simple. And they have one of my favorite games to play right now. It's called Swing for the Fences, and it's super easy to do this. You log into the BetMGM Sportsbook. After you sign up using that code PHNX, you go and you play the BetMGM Swing for the Fences game until September 7th, and then you choose they basically give you a strike zone. You choose a spot on there. If you hit a home run, you're going to get free bets. Otherwise, you get other offers as well. I highly recommend it. And now let's listen to Shane tell you all the details.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
You can also find yourself some delicious edibles by going to ogbrands.com, ogsbrands.com, not OG Brands. There's a Z in there. ogsbrands.com. The best edibles in the game. Check them out at your closest dispensary. All you have to do is go to ogsbrands.com to find that closest dispensary, because they have a dispensary tracker in there, which is dope. You can try some fruits, some creams, strawberries and cream, not orange and cream.
Orange creamsicle.
Orange creamsicle. That's what I was trying to think of.
There you go.
And all the other delicious flavors. You can get your RSOs. You can get your Happy Balance gummies. You can get your sativas, your indicas, the whole 9 yards, the hybrids. They're all there for you to enjoy. And, Espo, we have a deal for our peeps.
We do. Until August 31st, we're going to make life a whole lot sweeter for you with our friends over at OG's. All you have to do is you're going to get 25% off 100 milligram bags of the fruits or the creams at all Arizona The Flower Shop locations. All you have to do is go to theflowershopusa.com, place an order there, and use the discount code PHNX at checkout. Then head to your nearest The Flower Shop location and pick it up. That's right. This deal is that easy, and it's exclusive to our PHNX listeners. And reminder, it's available only online for those orders that are picked up in person. Discount code PHNX. It's active until August 31st, as we mentioned, and you're going to save 25% off on your order of OGs. Emma, what is our second topic today? Does it involve Luka Doncic?
All right. No, it doesn't. Right now, is Kevin Durant better than Devin Booker going into the 2023-24 season?
I don't want to answer this question.
You know what?
I'm going to say that they're equal. I'm going to ride the fence.
Oh, put them chaps on, ride that fence.
So but they do it in different ways, right? I do think that Kevin Durant is one of the few NBA players in the league that can get his shot off virtually any time against anyone. I don't think you can necessarily say the same thing about Devin Booker. Devin has struggled in the past, not so much last year, but in the past, he has struggled from time to time on lengthier defenders. KD doesn't have that problem. They're both phenomenal scorers. Like that's just Devin Booker's efficiency, Kevin Durant's efficiency. Like it speaks for themselves. But I do think that they just do things in different ways. Devin Booker has become a very good playmaker, all around player. So I think when you look at that coupled with his defense, improving over the last several years, you might tend to go that way. But then you look at Kevin Durant, and I think he surprised a lot of people, at least a lot of Suns fans, with the defense that he was able to play, even though every single KD stan out there that loves KD will tell you a million times over that he's a good defender. And he is a good defender. He's proven that. He could score against anybody in the league. I'm not picking one of these two. I knew I wasn't going to from the jump because I don't want to hear that beef. I think both players are equally as good on this team. And I think if you had gone back 2 or 3 years ago, I think, yeah, KD would get the nod because KD was playing at an insane level. But I think it's taken a little bit of time for KD to get back into that flow. And last year at the beginning of the season with the Nets, he was getting in that flow. Then he got injured. And then he came over to the Suns. And then he got injured. And then he had 9 games to figure it out. And then the playoffs. It was a little rough of a go. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. I think we're going to get a much better version of Kevin Durant this season than we did last season. So if we're going to go just by the seasons and we're just going by the end of last season, here you go. I would say Devin Booker was a better player than KD last season during that, 15 to 18 game stretch. Outside of that, they're equal.
I'm not going to agree here. And I'm not just doing it because it makes for a better show. Obviously, overall, Kevin Durant is the better player. In totality, Kevin Durant is a superstar and one of the top probably 7 greatest players we've seen, just in the way he is. And if he were 100% healthy over the last few years, we're probably having a different conversation. But right now, going into this season, I think Devin Booker has the slight edge on Kevin Durant. I understand they both have had some health issues, but to me, Devin Booker has come through for this team in the last 2 seasons and has continued to get better. Where Kevin Durant, I think we're starting to see is probably on more of that back half, obviously, of the career at 35. So where I think they're going to go this year is this is going to be Devin Booker's team. He's going to carry this team, but Kevin Durant is going to have unbelievable stats as well because he doesn't have to carry as much of the load as he has in the past because Devin's going to be able to do a lot of that. Bradley Beal's going to take some of that. And so KD's going to have to work not as hard as he has in the past to get his. He's still going to have great stats. I still think it's a 1A, 1B situation. But what Devin's going to do this year is the assists are going to continue to go up. We saw it in the playoffs. His ability to distribute, his ability to get Kevin Durant some easier looks as being the primary ball handler. I think we're going to see the continuation and the maturation of Devin Booker's game on the defensive end, offensive end, and he's going to be slightly ahead of Kevin Durant this year. And that's not a knock on KD in any way. Because I think KD is still going to be in the conversation for top 10 player. I just think Devin Booker is a top 10 player as well. And we've seen this in some of the rankings that these guys are probably the best duo in the game this year. We debated that earlier this month. And when you look at that, Devin Booker, I just think is going to be slightly better this season, but it's not a condemnation on KD at all. Some people will take it that, he's saying Devin Booker is better. Yeah, at the snapshot in time that we're looking at the place they are in their careers, in the load that Devin, I think, is going to be able to carry, where KD's going to take a little bit of a step back, I think Devin Booker is going to be better this year. Not by a lot, but
I'm not going there. I've seen Kevin Durant do it too many times where he's just better than everybody else. And I've seen it from Devin Booker too. Again, gonna ride that fence, baby. There's no way I'm saying either one is better than the other.
Honestly,
Because I honestly, I just feel like, again, you're talking about 2 players who are introducing a third that don't need the ball to be dominant. They can play any variety of games. They can do the up and down. They can run and gun. They can play systematically. Like, they're the perfect players for any system. And I think when you're talking about players like that, you know, as long as you can shoot the ball and be efficient and you can do everything else that your team requires of you, you're going to be considered a really, really good player. And these two are some of the greats in the game. And so it's hard for me to separate. It's like a sliver. And I feel like there's going to be just as many games where Booker plays a little bit better than KD as KD better than Booker. Yeah. I mean, and Tashi, I love you. But we don't have anything else to talk about. That's why we're talking. We're just throwing out random shit so we can fill up 45 minutes of our day and move along. That's all we're doing.
Wow.
I'm letting you peek behind the curtain. We don't have anything else to say today. There's no Suns news. It's quiet as shit. What else do you want? We're trying our ass off to give you some content. So here we go.
Can we clip that and use that for an advertisement?
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know. We're just filling 45 minutes here. You know, what do you want from us? You want good content? Wait till the season.
I mean, I'm also very entertained by the chat. I'm reading the chat, and this guy Free Warrior 4 is going at it with everybody in the chat, and it's going back and forth. Like, we knew that was going to happen. Like, Luka ho.
I love hello saying that we needed a Lindsay answer, so that's why you decided to put on the chaps and ride the fence. Look, you want my prediction? Both of these guys are going to be top 5 MVP candidates. Devin Booker's going to finish 1 or 2 this season. That's my guess, and KD's going to be in the discussion.
Hello, said Solid Espo. Can't just say content over and over again.
We could. 45 minutes of us just saying the word content. Enjoy. You know what I truly enjoyed this weekend is I had to stop and get gas last night at Circle K.
You truly enjoyed that?
No. The part I enjoyed is what happens next.
Babe, guess what? We get to go fill our tank up.
No, but you know what I did enjoy? I finally signed up for the Circle K Inner Circle app.
That is elite.
I saved 25 cents a gallon on my gas yesterday, which, you know, is always nice, especially during the summer when gas prices tend to be a little higher. But there was something else that hasn't been in our reads that I didn't know I'd get and didn't know to expect. 5 free Polar Pops as well, just for signing up with it. It's super easy. All you have to do is download the free Circle K app, sign up for Inner Circle right on there, and you're going to save, as I said, 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You're going to get those free Polar Pops, which come in handy right about now. You're also going to get every 6th free item on select Circle K products, pizza, coffee, those Polar Pops, and other drinks as well. So download the app, sign up for Inner Circle. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. What did I miss?
I got that song in my head from National Lampoon's Vacation, Holiday Road.
Holiday Road.
I just have a feeling that you're just like, you're Clark Griswold and you're just trying to get your family to get in the Suburban to go to Circle K.
Grandma didn't die on the way to get gas yesterday. I'll just say that. There's no good transition after saying that. Look, Factor meal kits is one of the best things that you can get. I'm going through a weight loss journey right now. I feel like I've been saying that for a long time on the show, but I truly have embraced it now. I'm working out, but one thing that my trainer said to me is, you can't outwork a bad diet. Well, you know what?
True.
Factor has truly helped me with that. They have provided me with pre-packaged, pre-prepped meals that have been fantastic. They're never frozen. They're always fresh, and they're ready in 2 minutes because I'm nothing if not impatient. And having a meal ready in 2 minutes is so great, and I don't have to like sweat over the stove trying to cook something in this heat. I can just put it in the damn microwave. I can be good to go.
What are you cooking for?
I cook for
and
my
why
family
are you sweating your ass off when
once
you're
every
cooking
20
food?
days, 30 days. I don't know.
I mean, I cooked for the whole freaking office and I wasn't sweating.
I'm fat, Saul. I
I'm
sweat
not-
doing a
I'm
lot
not
of things.
skinny.
I sweat doing a lot of things, all right? Let's just say that. But, a factor prevents that from happening is helping me on my journey. And we're busy around here. We're doing a lot of running around, doing a lot of things. Their smoothies have been fantastic for my breakfast. I got to drop the daughter off. I got to drive her to school, drive here to work. I don't have a lot of time. So I use that in the mornings. It has been fantastic. So if you're going through a wellness journey and you're trying to get fit like I am, make sure to head to factormeals.com/PHNXSuns50 and use that code PHNXSuns50 to get 50% off. That's right. Use that code PHNXSuns50 at factormeals.com and you're going to get 50% off. I highly recommend going there.
I wasn't making those faces at you. I was making those faces because while Capitan, we ain't talking about that, but we did see it.
Way to go.
Boo.
Hey. Anyways, Emma, what's our next topic?
Yikes. Our next topic is, what is Phoenix Suns' biggest weakness going into the season?
Oh,
Sorry.
Man, if I really had to pinpoint a weakness, just because I haven't seen it and I don't know what to expect, I'm going to go ahead and say the bench right now. I have high expectations for the bench. I think that they can perform very, very well and much better than last year. But because I haven't seen it, I don't know it. So I'll go with that. I'll say the bench is probably their weakest point right now because their starting five is solid, no matter who you throw in as the fifth starter.
But what do you is it just simply you haven't seen him play, or is there something on that bench you're looking at and going, that guy I don't believe in, or I don't know that this guy's going to be able to live up to the hype? Because I feel like they plugged the holes that they had and did it very efficiently with no money.
I think every single one of those players you could point to outside of Eric Gordon and say they haven't proven it yet. Like they haven't had the most consistent of seasons, or they had a phenomenal shooting year one year, but the others are all over the place, or defensively, they left a little to be desired or whatever. Right. And I think every single one of those, you talk Bull, KBD, Yuta, like the list goes on, and all those players have been wildly inconsistent. You're hoping that it all comes together in one moment and they can all be consistent enough to be attributes off of the bench. And I think that is what's about to happen. I truly believe that. But if there was a question that I was like, well, that's a question for me. I want to make sure that, Josh Okogie, he had a phenomenal January and then he went MIA in February and March, like at the worst possible time when, you're trying to put everything together. Like there's just wild inconsistencies from these players. That's why you got them on the vet minimum when you did, because you were able to show them like, listen, if you could put it all together and put it all together on this team, and if we win a championship, you all are about to get paid and get paid good money. So that's why they took those deals. They don't take those deals if they're consistent. They don't take those deals if there isn't, something that they need to improve on to show the rest of the NBA that they are worthy of more dollars. So that's why I would say, maybe the bench.
I understand that. For me, I started with, defense, because that's been what a lot of people have talked about. But the more and more I thought about that, Frank Vogel fixes a lot of those deficiencies because he's a great defensive coach. Schemes go a long way. People say health. I look at the rest of the West and I go, every one of those teams has health as a big question mark. So to me, that can't be the biggest weakness because it's a flaw across the entire Western Conference, and in particular, the contenders in the Western Conference. Any one of those teams all have health question marks there. So for me, it comes down to chemistry, because on paper, this team can look great. But we know if they don't come together, if they don't have good locker room chemistry, if they can't figure out how to play together on the court in a way that gels, none of this is going to matter. You can put together the greatest fantasy basketball roster on paper with this. You can spend more money and you can say, screw the second apron and the tax, all you want, but if these guys don't gel together on the court, none of this is going to matter. You're going to have great individual talent, but no team.
Mhm.
And to me, that's my biggest question mark. How do they come together? How fast do they? If this takes till January to really gel, you can look at that over under of 51 and a half and go, I could see that, because if they can't figure it out right away, like that final season, they didn't quite get it all together until
about game 15.
But yeah,
because they started off, what was it, 4-8 or something like that
something
year,
like that,
and then they won like 27 the next 33.
I get that, but I'm saying chemistry.
If it takes
is a
them
big
to
part.
January to gel, we are all fucked.
Well, that's
my
not going
to happen.
Like,
That's
I mean,
just not gonna happen.
so to me, it's just the chemistry, and I believe that this team, especially under Frank Vogel, will come together, will be able to figure this out. I think the offensive scheme from Kevin Young will be on point. The defense with Vogel will be on point. And then are there distraction points that could hurt chemistry? Is DeAndre Ayton a guy that it will kind of mature and grow into it? Like, is that how it will play out, where he isn't a distraction anymore in any way? He's part of all this. How does it come together? That's my biggest thing.
Yeah. No, we're I don't know if you noticed, but we're taking shrapnel in the chat right now. Everybody's,
for which one?
because she dropped a poll, I guess, and everybody's like, is there a C option for Lindsay? Is neither an option? We're taking strays from Amelia.
Well, we should.
For everybody, like, listen, I get it. I get it.
You know what? If we put it on Twitter, Lindsay would still win as a write-in.
She
somehow.
would. She would.
She would. We love you too, everybody. All right. We're sitting here sweating over a hot microphone in the middle of August, or at the end of August.
First of all, it is 72 degrees in here, and nobody is sweating over a hot microphone. This microphone's not even warm. I don't know what Espo's talking about.
That's an old saying. All right. Look, we're here working for you. So vote for Emma if you want. I'm sure she put herself in the poll.
Excuse me, sir. I did not.
You did not?
Espo, you are losing, and you deserve to lose after that comment.
Did Luka Doncic get put in the poll
I can't
too?
pronounce his. I've never been able to pronounce his last name. No.
Also, did you mean to say Lamo or LMAO earlier in the chat when you called somebody out? I thought that was pretty funny. Half-Life Heroes, Lamo.
Lamo. Hey, you leave.
He must have been a Doncic fan.
Alone. Let's talk about the hottest offer in sports right now. It's ours. We have the best offer in sports right now. All our T-shirts, all our hats are $24. That's it. $24. Our countdown to kickoff sale. It is football season, and we're sharing the savings with you. Any of the great Sun shirts we have, the Diamondbacks have some really cool new designs that you can get your hands on as well.
This is the cheapest our T-shirts have ever been in the 2 years we've existed. This is the cheapest it's ever going to get. And also, I'm just going to say, if you like this, come back tomorrow, because we have a deal tomorrow that we haven't had since the day we launched.
We've never done what we're doing.
We've never done what we're doing tomorrow, but this harkens back to something that existed when we first launched it. So it's going to be incredible. You should take advantage.
Technically, we've never done the $24 shirt thing.
True.
Either you're going to be able to take advantage of that from today through Friday, but hurry up. Quantities are limited on some of these shirts, so you want to get in there and get what you're looking for. Also, become a diehard while you're there. You can go to PHNX Locker for the shirts. You can go to gophnx.com to become a diehard today. You will unlock access to our Discord, which is my favorite place to talk Suns, Coyotes, Cardinals, D-backs, even the colleges, the ASU guys. We'll talk, Ray Anderson screwing things up there as well. But the Discord is a lot of fun. You get that. You're going to get diehard only exclusive content from Gerald, Jesse, Craig Morgan, Howard Balzer, all the teams covered for you. You'll get that diehard Balzer, Howard, our friend there. So you'll get all of that. Plus all sorts of discounts to our partners. So check it out. Go phnx.com. Become a diehard today. And also check out Shady Rays. Our friends at Shady Rays make the best sunglasses in the business. And right now, if you use code PHNX, you're going to get 50% off 2 pairs of Shady Rays sunglasses, the gear built to last. They're premium polarized shades, and they have all the coolest designs, all the best that you can hope for, and they've got the best warranty in the business as well. You lose them, you break them, they're going to take care of you. They're going to wind up giving you a new pair. So head over to shadyrays.com. You're going to be able to get the best deal of the season. Use promo code PHNX for 50% off 2 pairs or more of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. What was said to me?
Thanks to Saul. Every time I see Espo, I think of Toy Story. LOL, love you, Espo.
I'll put on the chicken suit next. All right, you son of a bitch.
That's funny.
Once I slim down, they'll think I'm Woody, not the Al from Al's Toy Barn. So, Emma, I'm going to give the people a little bit longer to vote. We had a couple other things to talk about. And before we head out, we'll come around to the vote. So, they're making fun of my looks. So maybe you can give me some pity votes in there as well. But over the weekend, there was an interesting thing that came up. Obviously, the FIBA World Cup going on. But Noah Lyles, the U.S. track superstar, had something to say. He said, quote, the thing that hurts me most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Which started a whole debate about whether United States sports leagues or North American sports leagues should call their champions world champs.
They should. And you know why? Because the American sports leagues have the very best players in the world that play in those leagues. That's the end of the discussion. Yes, you have the Olympics, and that's cool. That's country by country, but not the very best players are always participating in the Olympics, because sometimes their country doesn't make it. Like the Bahamas didn't exist before in the Olympics, and so they didn't qualify for that. So you're talking about 3 players right now that might not have been able to participate. Like, you're talking about the best of the best. And so when you're talking about world champion, I have no problem with them saying world champion, because they are. Their team was the very best of the group of the best in the world in one league. So I'm down with that.
Yeah, I tried my best to see things from Noah's perspective. And I get it. Technically, you're not playing a team from outside North America. You're playing a bunch of teams that are housed in North America. So I understand it from that perspective. But where the argument doesn't carry weight for me anymore is when you think about some of the best in the game right now. Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's all sorts of people from across the world. Luka, again, as from Slovenia. The best players from across the world like that are playing in the NBA. This is not where there's a competitive league. You want to say, hey, MLS shouldn't call themselves world champions? Sure, I get that, because the best leagues are in Europe. There's the best players are over there. Fine. But when you look at the NFL,
does MLS say it's the world championship?
No, but I'm saying if you want to make,
I think the leagues have a pretty good pulse on that.
Yeah, I think so. I get the general premise, but in the end, with the best players playing in the NBA, I think they should be able to say that. Major League Baseball, the best players play here. You could argue that Japan and the Korean Baseball League have fostered their own great talent, and there's very good teams. Sure, I get that, but still,
they're not
MLB
the best
is
of the best. Yeah.
NFL is primarily a North American sport, so I understand why you call that world champions. So I just think it was a very weird thing for Noah to say. I get, coming from Olympic sports, you have U.S. trials, so you're the fastest man in the United States, and then you go on to the Olympics, and you go against all the other nations. But are we supposed to call the FIBA champ the world champs, and they're the only world champs because every 2 years FIBA has their World Cup, and then then you have the Olympics, and then is that the world champ? Like, I understand it in the Olympic sports, but in sports like this, I don't understand the argument that they shouldn't be considered that.
Yeah, I didn't get it at all. So
yeah,
I'm not even.
I mean, what should the Nuggets have to go play the best teams in the a European, the Eurobasket, and then whatever leagues they have in Russia and all these other leagues to then prove they're world champions? Because we all know how that would likely go.
True.
So no, I think you definitely can be considered world champions. And speaking of the FIBA World Championship, wanted to give an update on Yuta Wantanabe, the Phoenix Suns forward who's playing for Japan. Not a good night for him.
He's playing with a bad ankle.
Yeah, which isn't fair to judge him. And you can tell that he's been hurting on that with his shooting efficiency. He finished with 4 points, 2 assists. He was 1 of 6 shooting, but Japan beat Finland, which was the first time a Japanese national team had beaten a European team in the FIBA World Cup. So congratulations to him on that.
I really like the fact that he's just trying to gut it out for his country. I think that's commendable. Yeah, and I think that, listen, you can see he got super emotional yesterday when they beat Finland. Those highlights were awesome. Like it was a vibe in there. Yeah, he didn't play well, but I'm totally going to give him a pass. And I don't expect this to continue when he comes here for training camp at all. I hope that they do have his best interest in mind and understand, like, hey, if he can barely go, he shouldn't be out there playing at all. He looked like he was borderline unplayable yesterday, especially towards the end. So I hope that they kind of take him off and let him recuperate, because he's got an NBA season to worry about as well.
Yeah, I hope that the Japanese national team and the Suns are in some kind of communication on this to keep the players' best interest in mind. But I also, like you said, it's very admirable that he's going out there trying to give his best for his country, even after hurting his ankle there in the preliminary trial rounds earlier. So hopefully he's good for training camp and that preseason, finds his rhythm when he gets back here to Phoenix. But we just wanted to keep you updated on what's going on in the FIBA World Cup. Emma, why don't you give us the damage in the poll and who won and who didn't?
Well, you giving yourself more time kind of hurt you. You're sitting at 37%. It's all sitting at 63%.
Damn.
Get fucked.
You know what? I had to carry the weight of hosting, so it's tough to do two people's jobs.
It's hard to be the Luka Doncic of this podcast. Apparently.
I was a high volume shooter today.
Yep. No, and I am Book.
You are.
Literally.
By definition.
Quite literally. Yeah.
You had that nickname before him?
Yeah, I did.
So it's on your license plate.
Nobody knows it. Nobody cares. But oh well.
Yeah. Well, look at this, man. It was a fun show, even though we were just filling 45 minutes, apparently, according to you. But I enjoyed our conversation here. Excited because Gerald will actually be back tomorrow.
Thank God.
Yeah, Gerald will be back.
I can't wait for him to talk about his escapades in Minnesota and how much freaking food he ate.
I would like to see a...
if you don't think I didn't screenshot everything, Gerald. Oh, I did.
I very much would like a slideshow of all the food he ate.
He has highlights on his Instagram where he keeps them.
I know.
Yeah, well, I want the slideshow of all the food he ate at the Minnesota State Fair and in New Orleans. We'll talk about it all tomorrow. Oh, and we'll talk Suns basketball, don't you worry. He's Saul Bookman. You can follow him at Saul_Bookman. I'm Espo. You can follow me at Espo. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And look, you got 48 minutes of Suns entertainment, no matter what Saul said. So we're happy to be here. Ahoy,
we always over-deliver.
Saul pass the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team.